Hey everybody, welcome on in. It's another Photoshop tutorial. It's your favorite photography teacher, Mr. Kern, or at least your top two favorite. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be working on our Multiplicity photography project and actually doing the Photoshop work to make that. Okay, so what we need to do first is we need to open up Adobe Photoshop. My computer looks a little different than yours. So here we go. I'm going to open up Photoshop. What I've already done, I've already downloaded the photos that I want to use. You should have done that at this point too. If not, go ahead and pause the video, make sure that's done, and then open up Photoshop. So once you have Photoshop open, this is your main screen, okay? Again, yours might look a little bit different than mine, but what we're gonna do is a little bit different. We're not gonna do new file, we're not gonna do open. Instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go up to File, we're gonna go down to Scripts, and what we're going to do is load files into Stack. Okay, it's going to bring up this little window. We're going to hit Browse. My files are on my computer, on my desktop, and they're all right here. Okay, so I'm going to select them. I know that I want those photos. I'm fairly certain these are all of them. Okay, there we go. I'm going to say OK. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to check this little box here that says attempt to automatically align source images. Okay, so I'm going to click that. What that's going to do is that's going to align your backgrounds all together. So if for some reason you moved while you were taking those photos or something jarred the camera in any way, what that's going to do is it's going to align all your photos to match the same background. Okay, so it's the same as if you were to take every single photo and just kind of skew it a little bit here, there, but it's going to match them all, put them all where they need to be. So if you did make some minor changes to your placement of your tripod, hopefully this will fix that. Obviously it's not 100%, but it's pretty dang close. Okay, so it is aligning those layers right now. So through the magic of editing, I'm going to speed this up. Speed up, and we're back. So here we go. We can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different photos here that I'm trying to all edit together. Okay, so I'm going to go through them real quick. Okay, one by one. So I have this photo here of the batting. It looks like I have 2 photos batting. So I want to pick which one I like more. I think I like that one more. Okay, and so that's the second one that's still showing, which means I want to get rid of this top one. Okay, I'm going to go through the rest of them. Good, 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 good. Oh, I have 2 of that, so I can get rid of one of those. I like shaky hands there, so I'm going to get rid of that. So I have gotten rid of my duplicate photos. So I am ready to get to work. Okay, so what we want to do here is we want to create a mask for every single one of these layers. And I'm going to show you how to do it. And as we go, you're going to pick up speed. You're probably going to skip ahead a little bit. You're going to be like, Mr. Kern, I know what we're doing already. Quit talking to me. I've got this. Okay, but I'm going to go through it step by step. Here we go. So I am on my first layer. I have them all set to be visible. Okay, clicked on the first layer. On my first layer, I want to click down here and I want to apply a layer mask. I have not made any selections at all. Okay, I'm just going to add a layer mask. You can see that that layer mask is white. Again, white layer masks allows it to be viewed. If there's black on a layer mask, it hides it. Okay, so I'm clicked on my layer mask. I've clicked here, so I have my layer mask selected. On the left-hand side on our toolbar, we want to choose our brush tool. Again, that's B on your keyboard, or you can just click that lovely little brush there. Okay. Down here, we want to choose our default colors. So if you click this little small color swatch here, you're going to end up with a white foreground and a black background. We want black in our foreground and white in our background for this step. You can click this little arrow here to switch between them, or you can hit X on your keyboard. That's what all the experts do. So hit X to switch between your colors. So again, you want black in the foreground, white in the background. As for your brush size, depending on your photo, it may change, but you want it to be fairly large, okay? Now, because we have the same background throughout this photo, we can be a little bit less exact with it, I think is the best way to go with it, to say that. So I'm gonna go with a brush size of about 400. I'm gonna have hardness at 0. I don't want a hard brush here. I want a fuzzy brush, okay? That's gonna make this look a whole lot better, okay? So again, brush, black in the foreground. I have a brush, a fuzzy brush here, fairly large. I'm clicked on my layer mask here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click over my object and just paint her out, okay? And you can see over here on the left-hand side, I've just painted black over that area, so we have a layer mask that just hides her, okay? Now, that's the exact opposite of what I'm trying to do, right? I want to be able to show her off. I want to hide everything else, okay? There's a lot of different ways you can do this, but this is probably the easiest. So paint her out. It looks clean, looks good. What I'm gonna do, again, make sure that you're clicked on that layer mask. We're gonna hit Control and I as an iceberg. So Control I. And what that does is it takes that current mask and it flips it, completely inverse layer mask, okay? So what was hidden is now showing, what was showing is now hidden. So you flipped it, okay? And you can see that we can see her and we can also see our next layer, okay? Same thing, we're gonna click on our next layer. We are onto our picture. So clicking on that next layer, we're gonna add that layer mask. Again, make sure brush, black foreground, fuzzy brush, and we're gonna paint her out, okay? So paint, 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 paint. There we go, okay? Again, Control I, inverse, there we go. We're on to our third layer. Now at this point in time, you're starting to pick up speed, click, layer mask, brush, black foreground, fuzzy, paint, Control I. Next layer, layer mask, brush, black foreground, fuzzy, paint, Control I, on to the next, okay? Now we run into an issue, okay? And the issue now is that this object right here, this version, is closest to the camera. But the way that the layers are stacked, it's not, because this is on top of it. So I want to move my layers, okay? Because I know this one is on the top layer, I want to grab it here. Again, click and hold. And we're going to move it up this list, okay? It just basically just moves it closer to the camera, just right where it was to begin with. So if we do that, now because we don't have a layer mask selected, it causes some, it takes everything out. So again, same thing. We're gonna click the layer mask, brush, black, fuzzy, paint out. Ta-ta, goodbye, Control I, there we go. Now, as you can see, there's some problems with that. So we're on to problem number 2 and we're gonna solve it. So the problem here is that we have overlapping objects. And the overlapping objects, remember we're being a little bit sloppy with our layer masks. Our overlapping object is causing problems for both of these layers. You can see a little bit of her coming through on that top layer, and then we're erasing a little bit in that back layer. That's because of the layer mask that we added to this top one. So if you have something that overlaps, here's how we're gonna fix it. We're gonna delete that layer mask. Once we delete that layer mask, we're gonna go over here to our quick selection tool. We're gonna hit select subject. A little bit tighter layer mask on this, okay? We want it to be a little bit more exact because we want to hide what we want to hide and we want to show what we want to show because our background is another object, okay? So again, quick selection tool does a pretty good job. I'm going to make selections. Again, only the areas that really overlap you have to be exact on, okay? We got some issues here with the hair. paint that back in. Be a little bit more exact with it. Okay, a little bit smaller brush. Okay. And I'm not going to go too crazy with the hair, just because I don't think my computer can handle that at the moment. We've been having technical issues. I think this is my third time recording this. A little peek behind the camera here. Okay. So again, I'm not going to be too exact with this bottom area here because it doesn't overlap with my object. I think that looks pretty good. Oh, gotta get rid of that. Okay. So once you have pretty good layer selection there, again, we're going to click Layer Mask. And we're back to it. Okay, that looks all right. We do have some interesting cutoff there on the hair, but I think it's going to work for now. Okay, we can fix that later on. Later on, we'll learn how to fix that with hair. There's a tool that works really well with hair, but again, my computer, I don't think it's going to handle it at the moment. So there we go. That's what we got. Okay, so we're good there. We are on to our next layer, and our next layer is back here in the background. Again, Layer Mask. Brush, black up front, fuzzy brush, paint out, Control I, on to the next one. Now you can see we got some overlap, potential overlap. So I want to make sure that I'm not applying this around this area. I want it just in the background, okay? So again, Layer Mask, brush, foreground, fuzzy. I'm gonna paint her out. A little bit careful with that one. Okay, Control I, we're back to it. Okay, now we do have an issue here. We want to be a little bit more exact with that layer. So let's figure out which one that is. It looks like it's this one here. You can use your move tool and just click on an object and it'll tell you which layer it is. See, boom, it's that layer. So again, I'm going to delete that layer mask. I'm going to quick selection tool, select subject. Again, just be aware of which one you're actually looking at. No, she's not a tree. Oh, that was fun. Okay, making selections. The fence is not being good to me because the fence is the same color as the hair over here. That's okay though. Okay. All right. And again, only the parts that overlap we really have to be concerned with. Although I don't think she wants to lose that leg. Okay. Be closer. There we go. I'm going to cut that up there. Make sure we get the glove. I think that looks good. That's a good selection. Okay, and I think that addresses our issues. Again, apply a layer mask, and then that fixes our objects in the background. Okay, we just have one more to go, which is that one right there. Just making sure. You can click it on and off to actually see what it is. So it's that one there. So again, click on it, layer mask, brush, foreground color, good. Paint. Okay, Control I. Because it's in the background, it really doesn't affect the thing in the foreground. And I think that looks pretty good. Okay. All right, so there is our photo. We don't have to do it to the last one. I'll just show you what happens if you do it to the last one. The last one, we apply a layer mask to it. And let's say, for example, we erase something. You see. So we want to keep one of them full or whole so that we don't lose our background. Okay, so no layer mask on the last one. Just leave it as is. Okay, now, once you like it, once you like where it's at, the next thing we need to do is we need to come up here to this crop tool. Crop tool is fifth one down on the left-hand side. You can see that we have transparencies around this photo. That's because we did that auto align. So we want to bring it in to the actual photo, cut off, cut it into the photo itself. This is where you can make some changes as far as composition goes. I'm going to cut off the tops of those trees because I don't need them. I'm going to cut in here, again, keeping what matters, losing what doesn't. Bring it in. Actually, we're gonna rule of thirds this thing. I mean, close, I guess. Just trying to get the picture here, but if I do that too much, I'm gonna lose the catcher. I'm gonna bring it out a little bit. That'll work. Okay. Once you're done with your crop, hit enter on your keyboard. Boom. Snap it into place. You can make some color corrections here if you want to. Color corrections. There we go. So adjustments. Again, brightness, contrast. You can make some changes to it. Just improve your photo a little bit. Adjustments. I'm going to go to exposure. Photo's a little bit overexposed. Adjustment. Go to my favorite. Don't mess with hue. That's not what I was looking for. Oh, I already did contrast. We can do it again. I love messing with contrast. I think that's good. Let's see what it thinks. There we go. All right. So there's my photo. Multiplicity completed. Hopefully yours turns out pretty dang good. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. I'm excited to see it. All right. Take care, guys, and good luck.